So let me just go back and move very quickly again. So today on the webinar series, we're going to be talking about turning customer calls into growth insights, unlocking the hidden signals in customer calls that will drive customer experience insights and growth. And we're talking about, or starting with why customer calls remain untapped. The first point is that analysis is manual and inconsistent. The ad hoc nature by which many teams today review call data, especially customer calls data, is just leads to missed opportunities, right? Inconsistent patterns. We're not able to gain visibility across all the events happening in the business. We're missing out on the big growth opportunities for the business by sampling 3% of our calls. And then we chatted about how data is siloed across different channels and records and tools, and the fact that it's difficult to bring the data together makes it really hard to see patterns and see trends across the data. And then the scale of the data is also impossible to manually go over. And so every business today is gathering more data, recording more data. It's now a default scenario to be recording your customer calls, right? But what are we doing with that data? And so everyone talks about sitting on a gold mine, but we're not doing anything with that, the gold that we're sitting on. And so these are the common reasons why a lot of businesses aren't doing anything with the customer calls. And we've identified a lot of opportunity around tapping into this data, right? And if you think about the gold mine analogy, if you know that you're sitting on a gold mine, you would, make the right investments to make sure you can extract the gold, right? But I think it's also not very clear to many teams and stakeholders, leaders, that what that gold is. They just have an idea of like, yeah, it's valuable, but what exactly is the impact? What can this data really do for us? And that's what we're speaking to on this slide, which is identifying the opportunities for improving your customer experience and revenue for your business, identifying risks with customers before it scales, identifying risk on a customer level, individual customer for consumer products, or on an account level for a B2B business, identifying revenue signals. And so where are there upsell opportunities for our customers? Where are there cross-sell moments for our customers? How do we see those signals across all the conversations flowing into the business? And so many teams today, when they think about looking through calls or support calls, they're really just trying to improve the performance of their agents, or they're trying to coach agents better or provide better customer satisfaction on those calls. But what they're missing is, by nature of the conversational experience or transaction, customers are leaving a lot of valuable signals in those calls that we can use to improve our business, drive more revenue, build new products. And that leads to the third point here, which is leveraging the voice of the customer across departments. And so those insights can enhance products, marketing initiatives, leveraging the same data. It's just new insights from the same data. So you don't have to do extra work. You just need to synthesize the data in a different way, with different context. And then you're going to be getting new rich insights that are going to be valuable across the business. And so this is something that a lot of businesses are aware of, the opportunity, but they don't know how to go about it, right? They just know there's something here, we're sitting on gold, but how do we go about it? And so going into the use cases, being more specific, customer success teams can stay ahead, of the customer and the market by spotting the opportunities, to improve their experience and drive revenue. Looking at the customer calls and analyzing that can help to scale product and go-to-market efforts. So sales teams can upsell, product teams can innovate, and marketing teams can scale their creativity. And I'll show some examples of how how to go about this leveraging call data. Third, we're able to support leaders, on our teams to bridge the gap, with the customer. And so many times the stakeholders, the leaders, they don't have visibility into customer problems. They're too far away and they're making all the decisions. And so how do we align our supervisors, our directors, our senior stakeholders to understand the data flowing through customer calls so that they can get firsthand visibility into customer needs and pain points. And then orchestrating outcomes, leveraging the data to, improve the experience, scale coaching, scale sales, and do all the great things that a lot of businesses are trying to do today. And so we've just gone over, the basics of taking customer conversations and using that to drive, growth for the business. I'll go into a quick demo just to show how we're approaching this at Insight 7, how we think about teams leveraging this data. And happy to take any questions in the chat, as I go through this demo. All right, and so we're going to use some, live data here. So at Insight 7, I personally use our platform to look through all our prospect and customer conversations. And so I'm going to show, a little bit of what we see on our own end in terms of going through some of the call data. And so in this project, I have a number of prospect calls. I'm not going to show the actual calls. I'll just show some of the insights that are coming out of it. And so you can see here, I'm looking at the customer experience dashboard within our platform. And here I can start with sentiment and analysis, right? What's the sentiment in these calls? Because they're prospect calls, it's not highlighting a lot of negative sentiment, because it's just, discovery, trying to understand customer needs and things like that. And so here you can see it will give you like a split of the sentiment. And then the next widget here is giving me an idea into what are the key topics and what's the sentiment across the topics. So apart from the high level sentiment, what exactly are the key themes in the conversations that we're having, and what is the sentiment across those topics, right? If these were actual customer calls, then it will probably give me stronger signals as to, what issues are customers having, what is going well, what's not going well. So you can see here, AI call analysis is one topic, call evaluation is another, customer experience, agent performance, pilot program discussion. So we typically offer a free pilot as part of our prospect engagements so that they can see the product in action. You can see here the sentiment across, that topic, right? And the next widget here, looks into churn risk. So highlighting which of these conversations indicates an element of churn based on certain signals that it's seeing, right? And so you can see here it's flagging certain elements of the conversations as high risk and medium risk based on certain terminologies used in the conversation. If I click into it, it's going to show me the actual calls and break down the detail. And so I'm not going to open that up, but just showing you like the view into seeing insights across multiple calls and what that can help you understand and drive decisions for the business. Another experience that I'll quickly show is what we call a journey map. So a journey map helps to understand the needs and pain points of customers, prospects, participants in any experience we want to understand. But in the context of this webinar, it's mostly relevant to customer conversations or prospect journeys, customer journeys or prospect journeys. And so in this case, you can see some of the things that are jumping out. So there's a need for automated analytics and transcription to identify procedural improvements. There's an opportunity to leverage existing call data for performance improvement. So this is what's coming out of the prospect conversations I'm having. And if there were signals across the entire journey, those signals will be shown in this visualization. And then the system also generates some recommendations of what we could do. to, satisfy the need of the customer, right, or address their pain point. So this is really good, very valuable if you have customer calls and you want to really understand the friction and the opportunity for those customers across the entire experience. Finally, I'm going to show two other dashboards that could give an idea of, just provide insights into calls at scale. This one is great for thematic analysis. So if you just wanted to understand the key topics across conversations, customer conversations, what is jumping out? So you can see here, with the prospects that we're talking to, inefficiency, quality assurance, need for improving customer understanding, challenges in analyzing customer feedback, AI integration for QA, data-driven decision-making, agent performance measurement issues, performance tracking and coaching. These are some of the themes jumping out of calls that we're having with prospects. And you can see that, I can click into each of these themes and I can see the actual insights, the source, the evidence backing them and all, but I won't go into that. But you can see like the themes jumping out of the data that we can leverage within the business. And then finally, we also have a marketing intelligence, dashboard where you can visualize marketing insights. So I can start to understand the language, prospects are using or customers are using. I'm getting recommendations for how to message our products and our offerings back to customers in their language. I can see the top objections that they're having during the conversations, and that's also connecting to campaign ideas that we could leverage to, improve leads or, generate more opportunities with customers or convert customers better. And so, I think all these dashboards just show how powerful this data set is and all the different use cases that, the customer calls that we're recording can have within our business. And so I'm going to pause there. I don't know if there are any questions.
Hello, Odun.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to confirm something. Of course, you've been talking about calls predominantly. Rather, getting insights from the calls themselves. Maybe there's something. Maybe you had mentioned it, and I might have missed. So this is something that you run, this Insight 7, through the calls database for you to extract insights, or does it happen whereby you've been in a conversation with a customer, then you've been entering the data either on a Google form or maybe on a CRM, so it picks that data to do the analysis, or secondly, I needed to ask, does it only cater for example, if it's English calls only? Because here in Kenya, for example, most of the calls that we handle, for example, are mainly conducted in Swahili. So I'm not so sure if maybe that is a factor based on what you've explained. Possibly there's something I might have missed in between, but maybe you can just clarify that so that I can, we can be on the same page, basically.
Yeah, great questions, Elijah. So in terms of the source of the data, for us, we use Google Meet. And so I record all my customer calls, and I'm able to ingest it into the platform and then turn that into meaningful insights. But a lot of our customers have data coming in from different tools, and so we are able to ingest data from any channel, and then the downstream, usage or application of that data is where we are experts in. That's where we specialize, and so we can analyze the data from there for different use cases, customer experience insights, marketing insights, compliance, sales insights, things like that, right? Thematic analysis, and so yeah. Right now, our expertise is in calls. We get a lot of inquiries around like support tickets and email, analysis, or even agent evaluation for those data formats. That's an area that we're looking into. I'll probably work on that going to next year. But right now, our expertise is around calls, and we really focus on turning call data into valuable insights and actions. And in terms of language support, yeah, we support different languages, 60 plus languages. And so Swahili wouldn't be a problem. It's one of the languages that the platform supports. I can see a question from Amy here. I hope that answers your questions, Elijah.
Yes, it does. I think just a quick one, maybe before we move to Amy. So in terms of does the system record the responses, or in terms of privacy and data protection, maybe you can also just elaborate a bit based on that. If maybe someone else may be having access, if it's specific to a certain company, and they may not want anyone else to access anything based on what the customers are saying. Maybe you can just elaborate a bit on this. That can be done.
Right, absolutely, yeah. Data privacy is very important. We wouldn't be in business today if we didn't take that serious. So we have the highest level of data protection and certification on the platform, SOC 2, and HIPAA compliance for healthcare. And yeah, we take extreme measures to make sure that the platform is secure by design, and we follow all the right security processes. And we always share the documentation to customers to show the evidence of that as well. And the way the platform is designed, every customer has their own instance of our product. And so once they log in, they're only seeing their own data, they're only seeing their own insights. And we make sure that even like the AI analysis powering the platform is limited to your own data. So there's no hallucination. We're not trying to mix your data with what is on the web, things like that. So Amy asked about exports. Yeah, so yes, you can export data from different dashboards here. Super easy to export data. So themes, for example, you can actually turn the themes into reports. So if you wanted to quickly build a stakeholder report, you present that next week and say, hey, leadership, this is what's going on the support side. You can publish that into an executive summary. You can define the outline, and then once you publish that report, you can export it, you can download it in different formats. Or if you wanted, you can export the actual, insights directly, right, in PDF, CSV. So yeah, the export capabilities across the entire experience, so you can easily use the insights. And then your teams can also log into the app to see exactly what you're seeing. So we built it to be collaborative by nature. So it's not just built for specific people to use. We built it so that everyone within the business, whether it's a CEO or an intern, can have access to insights to make very quick decisions.